Hi, I'm Nancy Carr. I'm the Communications Director with AARP Maryland. And this week, for our cooking class, we are going to proceed in the spirit of Valentine's Day, because if you're lucky and get to spend time with people you love, Valentine's Day can be every day, year round. It's really just about enjoying and sharing with those you love. And we're excited to have Chef Christine back in our kitchen. She's going to share with us a healthy meal for two, and you can have a heart healthy and happy meal together any day of the week. Welcome back, Christine.
Hey, Nancy, I'm so excited to be here.
Me too. I love it when you show us how to make these meals. The shrimp and bean meal that you showed us a few weeks ago was such a hit with my family. So I'm looking forward to sharing this with my family also.
Good. We're going to get fancy this week.
But before we get started, we've got a special Valentine's Week message from the AARP Fraud Watch Network. For all of those of us out there who are still looking for love, lots of people meet friends and potential love interests online through dating sites. I know I have several friends who've met online through dating sites and have had, been married for several years. I mean, it is a great way to meet new people and even potentially your soulmate. But not everyone is going to be your soulmate. Just like in the physical world, not everyone you meet is going to be the one. And there are some who, if you learn how to spot them, you can avoid swiping right at the get-go. So if your new online love interest wants to leave the dating site immediately and use personal email or instant messaging too quick before you really have gotten to know each other, swipe left. If they profess to love you too quickly, swipe left. If they claim to be from the US, but they're traveling or working overseas, swipe left. They plan to visit, but they cancel at the last minute because of a traumatic event or a variety of reasons, and you may have already sent them money for their ticket, swipe left. And ask for money for a variety of reasons, whether it's travel, medical emergencies, loss from a financial setback, your back due on rent, any kind of emergency, and they ask you for money, swipe left. Remember, cut off contact right away if you suspect a scam. As in the real world, lots of schemers and fraudsters make themselves known, if you know what signs are to look for. Don't send money by mail, wire transfer, peer-to-peer payments like Cash App or Venmo, or put money on a gift card for somebody whom you've only had an online relationship. Remember, gift cards are for gifts. Birthdays, holidays, anniversaries. Gift cards are not to lend people money. And if you aren't sure what to do and you just want to get a second opinion or report suspicious activity, you can contact the AARP Fraud Watch Network. They have a helpline that's staffed every day by trained volunteers who can help you sort through these suspicious clues. And that's at 1-877-908-3360. That's 1-877-908-3360. And when you've been through all that and you finally do find your love interest and you're ready to swipe right and prepare a lovely meal for them, Chef Christine's going to show us what to do.
Woohoo! Hey, that Fraud Watch number seems like an absolutely fantastic resource. I didn't know that you all had that. That seems terrific.
It is, and it's free. And you can also Google aarp.org/fraudwatchnetwork, which is
Awesome.
easy to remember. And you can report online, you can report, you can go on the hotline, and it also has an interactive map that'll show you what the common scams are that may be popping up in your area.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, It's
I'm
great.
going to
And it's
turtle
totally
down even
free.
more now.
And they share the information with law enforcement. So you
So
really are
smart.
making a difference in your community when you report these scams.
Yeah, so important to do it and get everything reported. Um, let me change our tone a little and bring it
Right.
back to a little
We just
romance.
swiped right.
We
We're ready
swipe.
for
I
the
like
romance.
that you know which way we have to swipe.
I sure
I
hope
have
I know.
I have
I
no
hope I
idea.
haven't been doing it wrong.
So I have come up with a very tasty, healthy, heart-friendly, because I think we're in Heart Awareness Month or something as well.
Oh, speaking of
Um,
heart, I do have to say, I haven't been swiping in a long time. I am married. I don't want to send the wrong
yes,
impression to
yes.
my husband who's watching. I'm not swiping,
It's
honey.
from
I'm
your
not swiping anymore.
it's from the research you've done. I know it. I know it. So, well, let me show you this. I want to get you fancy today, and I want to show you this is actually a fantastic recipe. If you are flying solo and living your best life, you can do this too. This is for everyone. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a fish in parchment paper. Now, I know people who are like, I don't like fish, I'm out. Don't worry, you could use a lovely little chicken breast. You could do something like that. The key here is by cooking in parchment, it is very hands off once we get our little packet made. So let me show you what I'm doing. I have a big old sheet of parchment here
Oh, I
that
keep
I
that in my
have.
house all the time.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And I fold it in half, and I swear, I was telling Nancy earlier, I'm not doing this because it was Valentine's week, but I cut my parchment into a big old heart. Now, listen, I am much better at cooking than arts and crafts, but I have been doing this since culinary school way back in the day. And let me show you what I do and why I do it, because I think that's important too. Alrighty, so I have made, you ready? Oh, I've made a
Oh,
big old heart, and I'll show you what we're going to do with that. But let's get some ingredients ready. First, do you ever use fennel?
not often enough.
I think people are a little afraid of fennel, and like I am not your black jelly bean girl,
Oh,
right?
I am
I
a
am
black jelly bean girl, so maybe I should
no,
be using it more.
no. Fennel is so delicious. I actually do a salad with raw fennel, and you cut it wicked, wicked thin. But I'm going to show you how to do this. I have a fennel bulb. They have them at your grocery store. You can typically buy just one. And you can see I picked off these pretty little fronds
Mm-hmm.
right over here. Let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take the top off of that. And then I'm going to
Do
cut
you
my
do
fennel
anything with
bulb.
the top?
See, well,
Do you,
I'll use it for something. I might throw it in a salad for dinner tonight.
okay.
It's you could gnaw on that if you wanted. Raw fennel's delicious. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this very, very thinly. Now I'm kind of doing it like an onion. I did cut the top and the root off. And then I'm just gonna cut it really, really thinly. Now roasted fennel, oh, it gets so sweet and so lovely. Oh my gosh, so delicious. But let me show you what I've got here. This is almost going to be steamed, okay? So I've
Mm-hmm.
got a little pile of my fennel, and it smells so good and fresh. And then I've got a little old clementine here. And I'm just going to, oh my gosh. I'm always so sad when the clementines go out. But I'm going to go ahead and just cut a couple of slices of my clementine. And then what I think gives me a whole bunch of bang for my buck, I have a little shallot here.
Mm-hmm.
And
Now,
you
can you
know,
use the regular orange if you don't have a clementine in the
yeah,
house?
absolutely. Absolutely. I let you know, 'tis the season for clementines. So I'm very much clementine friendly right now. I just
Mm-hmm.
ate one before we went live. I love them. I hate oranges. I grew up just hating oranges. I don't know why, but I love clementines.
I
I
love
think I got that.
clementine.
I think
Yeah.
I got that from my mom. She's got some memory issues, but every week she's like, "We have to get mandarins." I'm like, "Okay."
There you
So
go.
I have a little bit of shallot. Now I know, Nancy, I know you're going to ask me, can we use regular onion? And I'm going to say, I'll go light with it if you do. A shallot tends to be a little more mild. And I don't want to say sweeter because that gives the impression that it has sweetness. It's just not as pungent. And I just like a little tiny bit, a little tiny shallot right in there. And I want you to know, I want anybody who sees this to know, think of this as a technique that I'm showing you that you're going to be able to use with other things. I actually do a fish and parchment that is so good and uses corn and tomatoes in the fresh basil when it's the season for those things.
That sounds
Now,
amazing.
I'm going to do a pitch for all my fish lovers out there. I know that you want to get your fish fresh at the fishmonger. Total respect. That's where we're going to get our best stuff. Absolutely. But frozen fish, now they freeze fish individually. And I got to tell you, I think this is the greatest thing. I keep fish in the freezer all the time. I remember back in the day, my mom used to buy this log of haddock, I think, this very rectangularly shaped log of fish. And that was the fish we would have. This is very different. And here's the greatest thing. Fish thaws like that very, very quickly. All you need is a bowl of cold water, cold, and you just take your little frozen fish, pop it in there, and in about 20 minutes, that fish is going to be totally thawed. It's really genius. I keep salmon and cod and mahi-mahi, whatever I'm feeling.
That sounds great for a quick meal midweek. Eat also.
I do it all the time. I'm telling you, it is my favorite thing. I kid you not. Now, let me show you how we're going to put this together. You can see I've got all my scraps everywhere. I'm going to take my heart, and the seam is going to be where we're going to put everything. So I'm going to take this fennel and make a little bed.
Now we have a question from the chat, Christine.
Give me the questions.
Is there a substitute for fennel if you don't prefer the taste?
Yeah, if you are like anti-fennel, do what makes you feel good. I mean, do you want to do, I'm not a big broccoli fan, but maybe broccoli would work really well here. Let me think, I would do a bed of spinach. I think that would be lovely. And spinach and orange works really well together. Just try to relax yourself. Zucchini, fantastic. Does that help our friend? We'll see. Yes. So here's the thing. I've taken the fennel, and here's what happens. When the fennel cooks, it's going to get soft and sweet. It's not going to have that intense licoricey flavor at all. So one of the reasons I choose to use fennel here is because I'm using very few ingredients. So I want them to have a little kapow to them, right? That's why I'm going with that stronger flavor. But I've laid down my fennel, a little sprinkle of that shallot, and a couple of slices of the clementine. Now, I did give it a little salt and pepper, and I'm going to give the fish, for sure, a little bit of salt and pepper. Very important. All right, try to hit the ends of that fennel, too. And then a little bit of heart-healthy olive oil. Now, I'm not getting too wrapped up in it. Maybe 2 teaspoons, maybe a tablespoon. And if you're feeling fancy, you can take those little fennel fronds and put those right on top. Now, check it out. I'm going to take it because I put everything on that seam. And then I start at the top of my heart. And I just start to crimp it in. Now this is where people get a little nervous. But
Like an empanada.
if you just like an empanada, if you just do little crimps, try not to do really big ones. That's where people have struggles. If you do little crimps, I promise you it will stay together. And I get to the end, the point of that heart, give it a little twist and tuck it under. Now, I know paper in the oven sounds weird, but are you ready? Are you ready for my magic?
I am ready for magic.
All right, here we go. Let's see. Holy guacamole, I'm a genius. All right, so check this out. Oh. Now I went
That
into
looks
a
beautiful. How long did you leave it in there, Christine?
Okay, great question. I went into a 400 oven for about 20 minutes until it's puffed. You're going to go preheat that oven. So 20 to 25 minutes. You want it puffy. And now be careful because we're going to get a fish facial with all the steam that's going to come out. So be really careful when you open. There we go. So that steam doesn't burn you. Oh my gosh. This is so good. Now, if you're feeling that fancy vibe, and I didn't do this on my sample one. We'll put that in there. If you're feeling the fancy vibe, you can take that whole thing, pop it on a plate, and serve it just like that. Open it at the table. You're so fancy. And I'll tell you what, I would do a lovely, really crisp white wine. I'd do probably a Sauvignon Blanc with this. And it is so healthy. So that way you can have all the chocolate cake for dessert.
You've got folks in chat who are ready for the magic and looking forward to a fish facial.
I know. Well, you've heard of those fish pedicures. Have you ever heard of that?
Right. It's kind of the same thing.
This is way better. This is way, way better. I don't think I could handle that. But you can see, and let me just show you, this fennel now, I mean, holy heck. I don't want to say I'm a genius, Nancy, but I'm kind of a genius. So the fennel is now.
That's why we love you. You're a genius.
I need it. I need it. But that fennel is, oh my gosh, so good. It is so good. Now, I am a fish lover, and fish is so good, so heart healthy. I love, love, love fish. But again, if you want to do this with a chicken breast, I would not put one of those big steroidal chicken breasts in here. I would probably cutlet that.
Could you pound it? Could you
pound it? But I'm too lazy for that. I would just.
Oh, I love it. I love pounding it.
You do?
Especially after a long day at work.
That's how I used to bake when I had jobs that I didn't like. I would come home and I would bake all the time.
Bread.
So
you got to need that bread.
But, you got to need that bread. So
how long would you keep it cooking it for, though?
Say it again.
If you do chicken, how long would you leave it in?
About the same time. I think probably 25 minutes on the chicken. Because here's
and what about
thing.
Salmon? Sorry.
Salmon, same, about 20. No, keep going. 20, 25. And with salmon, let's think about what if we did some very thinly sliced potatoes and did potatoes down there with a little piece of something on it. You have so many options here. I got to tell you, it comes out looking fancy. This would be a great thing if you do maybe a dinner club or a supper club, something like that with your friends. I just did one for a wonderful group of folks that live around the corner from me. And I got to tell you, this will blow their minds because it comes out so pretty and it is healthy. Now, you could slap a knob of butter on that, no problem. I went with the olive oil because I am trying to keep it kind of light. And I think the flavor of the olive oil goes better with this particular dish.
So we have a question in the chat. Is tilapia also a good candidate for this cooking?
Sure, absolutely. Any kind of fish fillet that you've got, and tilapia is great because it's very cost effective, right? It's very cost effective to use, which I love. So you could absolutely do that. My goal here is to have something, a nice little tasty bed for that fish to rest on, rather than putting it directly. You could put it directly on the parchment, but by having it under the fish, it's going to help soften all of it and make it really kind of a complete situation there. I'm obsessed with this fennel, by the way. It is so soft.
Is there a side dish that you would recommend with this? Maybe a bed
Yeah,
of rice?
absolutely. If you want to keep it simple, go with some rice. I'm kind of into the brown rice right now, but I'm really into farro. Have you ever heard of farro? It's
Yes, I haven't cooked
Farro.
with it. Uh-huh.
Farro's fantastic. And I'll tell you what you could do if you wanted. Make your farro, put in a little orange zest if you're feeling that vibe, maybe a little olive in there, olive oil, salt and pepper. I mean, heck, you could do olive too if you like olives. Chop some up and put that in here. But I would love to see it with something grainy, something that can soak up some of the juices that are in there.
That sounds great. I look forward to making this with for my family. I tell you that the shrimp and garlic and white bean
I
stew
know.
that we made a couple weeks ago was such
I
a
know.
hit. I made it with
I know.
chicken for my son who's allergic to fish, so I made a separate batch for him. He ate it all up.
It's so hearty.
The shrimp, it was all even better the next day. So I
Yeah.
can't wait to wow my family with this.
Good. Oh, and I have one more quick tip for you. You can make this earlier in the day if you like. Now, do not thaw out your fish and wait till the next day. I'm very, buy fish, eat fish kind of. But I'm going to save this one for this evening and I'll cook that for dinner tonight. Nice and easy.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing this easy, quick recipe. And
You're so
remember,
welcome.
folks, look out, it's online is the way these days that many people are finding love. But before you swipe right, look out for those warning signs that we shared. And if anything doesn't look right, you can swipe left first and then call the AARP Fraud Watch Network hotline. And thank you, Chef Christine. We look forward to a full schedule of events with you coming up over the course of the year. So we're going to see you a lot more frequently, and we're all going to be a lot healthier and happier for it. Thank you.
I can't wait. Thank you so much, Nancy.